Good afternoon. State lawmakers want to crack down on people who are stealing from you. A bill gaining support in the legislature would hit food stamp users trying to trade groceries for cash with tougher penalties. News 13's Chris McKee is in the Newsplex with a reaction to the idea.
Kim, the bill would let investigators total up a year's worth of fraud allegations into one case. State officials say food stamp fraud costs New Mexico nearly $1 million a year.
Maybe they'll get $100 loaded onto their card and they want to sell it for $50 quick cash.
Now, State Representative Monica Youngblood is behind this bill, which has already passed the state house. Right now, investigators have to charge each individual food stamp or WIC check fraud case by itself. On average, food stamp users get about $128 worth of benefits each month. So in many cases, suspects don't commit more than $500 worth of fraud, and then they're charged with a misdemeanor. This new bill would let investigators add up the total dollar amount of fraud committed by one person in an entire year. If it's more than $500, the law on the books says that's a fourth-degree felony. That could bring up to $5,000 in fines, up to a year and a half in prison, also parole. The hope is that stiffer penalties mean fewer fraud cases. We asked a few people today what they think of the bill, and while there was some support, some think it's maybe not the right time.
I think right now there's probably, bigger crises out there to focus on in the legislative session than the food stamp fraud. Teacher salary would probably be my number one.
The only way to do it is to try. Without trying, you can't change things.
The state's public defender's department thinks the bill would send more food stamp fraud cases to trial. The bill still has to get through the state Senate. If it passes, it would take effect in July. Kim, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Now, the state estimates that about 450,000 New Mexicans use food stamps. Investigators look into about 1,400 fraud cases a year, but typically only a few dozen move forward.